Well, hey again, everyone. I thought I'd give you guys a little something here, whatnot, because I did just drop the Predators review and everything. Because finished it up on like Friday afternoon, got it uploaded, put on Patreon, all that type of stuff, and I've kind of not done anything this weekend because it's my like first full weekend off from work in a couple of weeks, and I thought I'd first just kind of relax and enjoy things a little bit, and then hopefully get ramped up to do something. But I've been kind of stuck in the mud a little bit this weekend, and I haven't really done anything, and I've got to work on Labor Day, a whole freaking day's worth of shift, so it's like I got nothing really to look forward to, and I'm working a full week, so I've got nothing else to, not much time to really kind of do anything. I can't get together with the guys to do any commentaries. Both of them are completely booked up with stuff over the weekend and the next week and whatnot, so there's no new commentaries coming up anytime soon. We're going to be dropping the Back to the Future 3 commentary later in the month, but I don't really have anything else to drop at this moment in time, so a little bit kind of circling around and waiting for things to kind of clear up in schedules to align things and get things done and whatnot. And on Saturday, because I might have mentioned it before, but we had to push things back a little bit due to some family obligations Tim had, but this coming Saturday, September 8th, Tim, myself, and AJ are going to get together in his studio and hammer out the final tweaks on the final piece of music for my movie, The Fixer. So once that's done, once we've signed, sealed, and done all that type of stuff, the film is on its way to release and everything. And cool thing, really timely cool thing here is that Amazon is actually upgrading all their manufacture-on-demand services now, where you can go up there and do manufacture-on-demand Blu-rays, but also you can now do dual-layer DVDs, where before it was only single-layer. So that was kind of like an obstacle I had for the longest time with whenever I'd end up releasing The Fixer and I wanted to put up on Amazon. It would have been a thing where just like it's just the movie. There's no bonus features. There's no nothing else. So it'd be very compressed to get the 95-minute movie onto a single-layer disc and not put anything else on it. Now it looks like, apparently on like September 15th, everything's going to fully launch on the site. They're kind of in beta testing mode right now, but moving everything over from the old accounts to the new accounts. But it seems on September 15th, which is 1 week after we get this whole thing done with the soundtrack piece, this new service will launch, and we can do dual-layer DVDs and everything, which will pretty much open up space to do less compression on the film itself and put in a couple special features. Won't say exactly what until I kind of get that figured out, mainly with the compression, quality settings, and space requirements for the film itself, and see what our space is left over to fit in what I can. Probably the paramount thing is get the alternate footage into the set and everything, so if anything, I'll probably leave Hemi music videos off there because they're all over the internet or whatnot. They're all over YouTube. It's not hard to find. So if anything, it'd be mainly like showcasing some of the alternate scenes, alternate footage that were done between like original version reshoots, stuff like that, or whatever it is that I have there. So that's kind of like the main thing to get on there, and anything else is kind of icing on top of the cake there and everything. So that's a fantastically wonderful type of thing that if we had gotten this thing done like 2-3 months ago when we were originally hoping to get it done, I probably would have gone off and done something completely different and not had this available to me, because did come across another a service that had extremely affordable type of stuff. I could have gotten like 50 dual-layer discs and whatnot produced for like $100, but if Amazon is upgrading this whole thing and I can do that through their site, all I have to do is pay minimal setup fees, and basically they take from the sales of the disc, they take their cut, and then whatever else from the price that you select, you get the extra bit off on top of that. So they recoup their costs up front, and you just get whatever else is left on there from whatever price that you set for it above what they have to charge to get recoup their own cash and everything for the production and everything. So that's pretty much the way it's worked, and I've been on their old site CreateSpace for eons and eons since I originally released Dead of Night back in like 2009, 2010. And so there's that. And so that's a fantastically wonderful thing to hit at just the exact right moment in time. So the only hold up otherwise is that to put it up on Amazon Instant Video, you now are required to include a subtitle track, which is very difficult to do for a film that runs 95 minutes long roughly and is extremely dialogue heavy. I was able to kind of get it done for dead of night because, one, it's a 30-minute short. It's very sparse on dialogue, and I was able to pretty much, if you put things up on YouTube, it'll kind of auto-generate its own sort of subtitle track, whatnot. So I pulled that down off of YouTube and pretty much spent a whole night just editing words and timing of everything and the time codes, whatnot. So I was able to get that done, but that's a much different beast. It's a much different thing. If I did it for the Fixer, I'd probably be working on it for fucking weeks. And there are services out there that will do it, but even the cheapest one is like $1 per minute, so it cost me like $95 to $100 just for them to create a subtitle track for it. So it's kind of bouncing back and forth right now. It's worthwhile to do that as well, so that's a difficult hurdle to get over. And obviously there's Vimeo on demand, but then I had to pay like an extra like $200 some odd a year just to get that, and I don't feel so much confident that I'm going to be able to recoup that kind of cost from just one film I'm going to put up on demand or whatnot. So I don't know what's going to happen VOD wise, but things will be rolling out as I get things situated, locked down, all these types of things with the film. So that's what's going on there with the Fixer or whatnot. So that's kind of cool stuff that kind of happened at this moment in time. And like I said, once I get things, the next few steps done, I'll have more concrete details where things are going to go. So cool stuff there and all that type of stuff. So I will be letting you guys know about that in due time. I do have some media pickups here that I'll probably just talk with media pickups and some other stuff coming up like Forever Horror Month and a few things before that. Because, well, first off, I'm going to say I finally got my Blu-ray of Razorback, because I mentioned the last update that Deep Discount had finally got these back in stock from Umbrella Entertainment, which is located in Australia, but this is completely confirmed. It's region A, B, and C on there, so anything you go for, you're going to be able to watch this. This is the first feature film from Russell Mulcahy, who directed Highlander after this and everything, and various other films as well, The Shadow and a few other things here and there. But in regards to that, I have not watched this yet, but it's still tentatively on the schedule for Forever Horror Month. So sometime in the next couple weeks, I will find the time to sit back and watch this and indulge in special features to get that ready for October. So it's gotten a 4K restoration and everything after their previous release was a 1080i interlaced one. So this is full 1080p from 4K remaster and new interviews, new features. They include sort of a pan and scan uncut version from like the old VHS or whatnot, or Laserdisc release back in the day or whatnot. So I'm very high to check this out, as I've noted before and shown a little bit of footage. McKay's vision is fantastic, and I just had to see this. I saw a review of it maybe a year or two ago. It was like striking imagery. McKay does some great stuff. Really jazzed to get up on that. And talk a little more slightly Highlander-esque type of stuff. This is something I've had for a long time, but I think I'm going to be doing a couple Christopher Lambert reviews and whatnot. I'm kind of gearing up for stuff, and I wanted to do Mean Guns for the longest time, because I spent like $30 to get this imported from Germany like 2.5 years ago, and I haven't really taken the time to really kind of get to this, because I always like, okay, I want to do Mortal Kombat, then I want to do Highlander 3 or whatnot. So it's like I kept pushing back these other Christopher Lambert films. So this is definitely on the schedule. I might end up doing this as a mini review, because it is a very niche cult title and everything. So I don't know, like a full 20-25 minute review would be kind of like the most economical thing, but I think I can nail this pretty well in like a 12-minute runtime with scripted out and everything, and hitting some beats and not getting too elaborate about talking about things. But this is like they spent some extra time on this release. The compression is kind of underwhelming and whatnot, but they did end up pushing forward. There was like kind of a campaign going on when they were kind of putting this whole package together about getting the proper CinemaScope 235:1 aspect ratio released and everything. So there's a lot of other things where like all the American releases are all pan and scan. There's some that are kind of cropped down to like 1.85:1. They kind of zoomed in and cropped it down. So there was kind of a campaign at the time to get little funding for it from fans and whatnot, to make sure that they could get the the full frame version of it. And he definitely uses some, Albert Pune definitely uses some very wide anamorphic lenses in the film, because there's a lot of distortion on the edges of the frame and whatnot, which is very interesting to see. But I'll talk about things when I do get around to reviewing this, because this is also kind of region free, but I think a couple of the special features are kind of like in PAL format, so they don't. My Blu-ray player is kind of an old model. I've been looking to maybe upgrade to like a 4K Blu-ray player, because if I'm going to upgrade to anything, might as well be a 4K version, and then later on down the line upgrade the TV. So no sense just like upgrading to another just standard Blu-ray player, then a year or two passes and I get a 4K. Why bother doing that? So I've been looking at prices here and there and seeing things on sales. I just haven't been wowed about what I can quite afford at the moment, or what seems like the best deal, certain brands and whatnot. In regards to that, some of the PAL stuff, I think it's PAL stuff on here, just won't quite play on my Blu-ray player, but I should be able to rip the footage off of the software that I have here, so there shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. And I am going to be doing this. I'm probably also going to do a Highlander Endgame as well, because I talked about that way back in January when I did the third Highlander film. I kind of got... Basically, I was kind of like looking around on Instagram the other night and just like thinking about who else, finding some new people to follow. And apparently Christopher Lambert has his own Instagram account. He's not on any other social media. There can be only one social media account for Christopher Lambert. So I found him on there, and it's like, I'm going to end up talking Highlander all weekend. I'm going to be thinking Highlander all weekend. And I will do, I'm pretty positive I'm doing Endgame, because I have the original DVD release, which has the producer's cut and this sort of work print version, and there's a 5-film Highlander DVD pack that has Endgame on it, plus the original theatrical version of the film, which runs like 88 minutes long, which is kind of a odd thing for them to kind of sneak that in there without any kind of note or whatnot, because they released the film theatrically, then they completely re-edited it with the producers for the DVD release, and included that weird work print and a bunch of other deleted scenes, because it's a real mess of a film in terms of just how many different ways they re-edited a whole blast. I think it's a real mess of things. I'm definitely going to get into it. It's a lot to get into on that film, so that's going to be a much more robust type of review or whatnot in terms of content that I have to go through and everything. But I did just order that today off of a nice seller off of eBay, so that should be coming by the end of the week or whatnot. And then I'll start working on it and hopefully get reviews later in September. So I'll see where that goes. But definitely, because I obviously haven't seen that version of the film since the theater, I think it was released in 2000 or whatnot. So it's been a long time since I've seen that version. And it has certainly some critical stinging points to note about it, why there was different versions cut for DVD and everything. Big mess. And there's no Blu-ray release stateside. There's a couple in foreign regions and whatnot, but even some of the transfers and the compression are kind of crap and whatnot. So kind of the same thing with Highlander 3. There's not really a really good sort of Blu-ray release of it anywhere. So there's that and everything. I know there's some Japanese releases out there for like 2 and 3 or whatnot, but they're really high priced to import and everything. So go off on that and everything. But so I just figured today, sitting down at lunch, it's going to be Christopher Lambert month. It's only like 2 films. I'm thinking, because going into Highlander Endgame, there's got to be a little bit of continuity set up for it, because it's from the television continuity, not necessarily the continuity of the films that preceded it. So I might do something. I might just like kind of like, not like review the whole series, that's too intensive of a thing, but maybe look back at the pilot episode and give it a little bit of a primer. I don't know. I'll see how I'll feel about it when I get to that point, and see how much I really need to kind of do a primer for anyone on going into Endgame, and not make that one review so freaking long to explain that much continuity of it. Again, lots of shit, but let's get this Christopher Lambert stuff out of the way. Get the main stuff, and we'll move on from there. Thing into Forever Horror Month, which I'm still deciding on other titles. Someone did request have me do Hellbound Hellraiser 2, and I'm still thinking about. I'm not as ecstatic about the film as I was many years ago. And I only have a DVD release of it. I usually like to get the Blu-ray. But if I was going to get the Blu-ray, I'd get the Arrow video version, but that's only the box set. And I already have the Steelbook release of the first film from last year. So it's kind of partly redundant to get the box set now. And even though it's the 30th anniversary of Hellbound, I haven't heard anything from Arrow about them doing a separate release like they did for the first film this year. So, I don't know. I'll see where I go in the next month if I'm going to do Hellbound. So, after that, I'm not doing any more Hellraiser. Don't ask me to do 3. 4 is also a mess. And don't even get into direct-to-video stuff. So, if I go Hellbound, that's as far as I'm going. And interesting enough, if this holds the schedule and everything, this made me fucking gush. It made me ecstatic. Because Clive Barker is going to be at Days of the Dead Chicago HorrorCon in November. He's going to be there. And if everything stays on track, I can't not be there because it's Clive Barker, and I don't know how to even react in the presence of this man, because I love Hellraiser fantastically. Lord of Illusions conceptually, I absolutely love that film. Like I said, when we watched it recently, I didn't have as much of a strong reaction. I felt some things in it didn't quite hold up as strongly as I felt they could, but conceptually, I love everything in that film. But regardless of that, so it's like just Clive Barker. I love listening to this guy on an interview, on a commentary, anything like that. He's a fascinating guy to listen to. Just to meet the man would be just beyond words. So there's that, and apparently Trish Stratus and Lita from WWE are also going to be there. So, and Zeus from No Holds Barred, Tom Lister, he's going to be there too. So there's a couple of names that are kind of nice and cool and everything. So they'll announce more people in the next 2.5 months or whatnot. So I'll see where things continue to go off, because people can drop out here and there. Things can happen. It's happening before. The first time I went, I was really excited to meet Bruce Boxleitner from Babylon 5, but a day or two before the con, he had to bow out due to a scheduling conflict with shooting on a film or whatnot, or a television series. So he had to bow out, and I was a little crushed. But I did get to meet some cool people on that occasion. But gonna talk a little music here, not as much as I did last time. So bear in mind that. But I did pick up the new Alice in Chains album, Rainier Fog, and there's a couple of different things to say about it, because I'm so much about the physical media, as you can tell, and everything, and I was really excited to just kind of like get the CD and everything, and a little disappointed that it's very economical. There's not even a booklet in this thing. It's just open it up, and this thing here, there's no credits, there's no nothing on this, there's no booklet. It's as bare as you can get, and I was really kind of bummed about that, because I kind of wanted to come home, sit down, listen to it. Read the lyrics as I listen to the songs and everything to kind of entrance myself with it, and I was a little disappointed by the fact there was just like kind of nothing here. So the death of physical media, people. And I need to listen to the album a few more times. There's a couple of tracks I like, but nothing really kind of jumped and grabbed me as much outside the songs I already knew that were released prior to the album's release and everything. But I like a couple of the songs, but like I said, I need more time to kind of soak it in and kind of get the feel for it, and just feel what I'm going to feel about it and everything. But after listening to that, I for a reason, I really had to, I got into something else, and I really needed to get the remastered version of Appetite for Destruction. This is the deluxe edition version that, I don't know, I just had to start. For a reason, I got the feeling to want to go out and get this, and I hunted it down, and I got a little discount from something I joined up with, and really fucking good, man. I mean, I've had this album before, obviously on CD, but this is just like, if you haven't listened to this album in a long time, you owe it to yourself to listen to it again, because it is still... It's still as fresh, still as energetic, still as revitalizing of rock music as it was 31 years ago. Everything I listened to on the album is like, nothing sounds this good anymore. No one makes music that sounds this refreshing and this so much of a thing that's just so timeless. Again, 3 decades later, and this album has not aged a fucking day. It's not gotten anything but love for me. I mean, I just got into this, listened to it. I started listening over and over again, and just like it's just phenomenal. Just you can't talk anything bad about this album whatsoever. It's fantastic, and just like I keep listening to songs over and over again, and this one does come with a booklet and everything with lyrics and photographs and stuff like that. All these interesting things, and the discs are just kind of slid inside the cardboard digipack here of sorts. So I gotta be kind of careful with that, how you handle it. But they've got the original wild fucking artwork they kind of couldn't quite put out in record stores, and the inside here, and they got a nice black and white band photo on the inside. And you can go on their official YouTube channel. They did a whole official unboxing of the gigantic mammoth box set they put out with all this shit and everything. And had to at least get the deluxe version. Anything else would be more expensive than I could justify getting. But because this has pretty much the entire GNR Lies EP on it as well. They kind of remastered everything. They've got more live tracks. They've got demos. They've got the original couple recordings they did at Sound City Studios in 1986. Kind of test out, I think there was like a producer there kind of testing out for the sound of everything, and they went in and recorded 5 songs off of that, and then they have Shadow of Your Love, Move to the City, a couple different things on here that have been kind of never been released. So it's like listening to this stuff is just like fantastic. Even listening to these Sound City Studio recordings, which is kind of like the band, just kind of a raw live recording of the band. It's like to hear a band perform that fucking amazingly, just in like a rehearsal studio or whatnot, just doing it live in the studio, just like that. It's like it's amazing to hear it. Just like I can listen to those over and over again as well, because they have. It's just so impressive. Just like you can see that they didn't have to do much in terms of production quality to make the ultimate album sound as good as it was, because the talent was already there. The sound was already there. These guys already gelled and made all this stuff work so fantastically. It's like, it's so revelatory or whatnot to hear those type of recordings where just like, this is pretty much how the band was sounding when they were just in the rehearsal studio knocking these songs out and everything, and just like, and just then you listen to the actual album tracks completely remastered, sound better than ever. And just hear the production quality give the meat and the focus and the strength and everything that it ultimately had for the commercial appeal. Just like amazing type of stuff. It's one of the absolute best albums that's ever been produced. Everything on it just has that quality. Like I said, just like has such a value to it that is just untouchable. Just like you can see absolutely why GNR became like the biggest band in the world for those couple of years or whatnot. And everything just blew it out of the water. Nothing at that time sounded the same as what they put together. All the quality of the musicians they had involved in this whole thing just broke the mold. They just blew everything out of the water. Just like everything else you heard. Definitely kind of everything else at the time was all, as you saw on MTV or whatnot, all the hairspray and the makeup, all this type of stuff. Everyone had kind of similar production sound or whatnot. Just kind of like everyone kind of, whatever albums that came out, like a Bon Jovi or whatnot, kind of like set the template for how all the other ones are supposed to sound. All the Whitesnake albums and the Dokken albums and the Poison albums, all these different things. So everyone kind of sounded the same with some of their own qualities or whatnot. But this album just came out and just like it reinvented rock music at the time. Just like it was so different. It was so much of a thing that just like, even if this album came out today, it would blow everyone the fuck away still. If no one ever heard this before and just like it just got dropped on the world this year or whatnot, it would still blow everyone the fuck away. It's just like, obviously there's a whole different world out there right now in terms of how music is consumed and brought attention to or whatnot, but it's still that much of a high quality, amazing, next level type of hard rock album. So it's like, I just been hooked on it. I've just been loving listening to this stuff over and over again. And just like that's what these good albums do. Is like, even when I got the Metallica remasters a couple of months ago, it's like it got me back into listening to these songs, because whether it's like Psychosomatic or whatnot, they just sounded fresh. They sounded, there was something like a new coat of paint over something, even though it might not be all that much of a difference in sound, but there's just something about rediscovering it from a fresh packaging put out and whatnot. Just something that they put care into it to kind of reissue it and do something really nice with it and just get it out there again. Just like it gives you that charge or whatnot to kind of get it back in there and get a new rip of the disc or whatnot, or just put the disc in your player or whatnot. Just like it just has that feeling, you know, just like it just has that feeling. I don't know what it is. It's kind of indescribable type of thing. Just like you get charged up that they have this brand new version. You just want to get into it and just enjoy it and just like get rid of the old dusty copy you had and whatnot. So it's like it just feels fresh and new and just so much energizing. Just get back into these songs and everything. So that's awesome. Just like gushing over Appetite for Destruction, which is like on the 5 billionth person to do it, but no. If you haven't grabbed one of the reissues, one of the remastered sets or whatnot, definitely give it a listen, because even when I was listening to samples on iTunes, the ones I had ripped a long time ago sounded a little flatter. The ones off of iTunes definitely seemed like they had a little bit more juice to them in a certain way, a little bit more kind of sonic impact or whatnot, whatever it is. I think whether they did equalizing wise or whatever they did to kind of freshen up the remastering digitally, it did make an impact on me. It's like, yeah, this feels like, because a lot of times I get some things that are albums that are remastered, or a greatest hits compilation that has remastered tracks. Can't really tell anything's really changed or whatnot. You had like the old greatest hits disc from like my old Foreigner greatest hits disc from like, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years ago. Really doesn't sound anything different from the 2008 remaster I picked up a few months ago. So, but it had a lot more tracks on, so it was worthwhile to get it. But sometimes, like, I don't know exactly what they did in these remastering processes because they don't really sound anything different. But regardless of that, so I mean, Metallica is going to be doing a remastered version of And Justice for All. They kind of put out like a teaser video of the production warehouse or whatnot, kind of putting together all the discs and the vinyls and everything like that. So not going to be there is definitely almost certainly not going to be any bit of a remixed version, because they pretty much said that like the mixers, the engineers, whatnot, pretty much said like this is all recorded on tape and spliced into a billion different fucking pieces or whatnot. And if anyone found anything that was still intact after this long of a time, it'd be a fucking miracle. So it seems very unlikely that you're going to get a remixed version to get more of Newsted's bass back into the mix or whatnot, but we'll see what happens with the remaster. But if they're going to put out a couple more, adding some demos, some live tracks, whatnot, I think that was one of the best eras for Metallica live in terms of like a lot of the recording quality of stuff was getting a little bit more improved over kind of like the bootleg stuff that was kind of going around for a couple of years. That was the same era as the live shit Seattle shows, so I think they might have some really solid live tracks to throw on there, and they've definitely been reaching out to fans to see what else they can throw into the mix and everything. So that's kind of cool and everything. So we'll see where that lands. They haven't put out a release date or specs about what's on these sets or whatnot, so we'll see and whatnot. And I don't know, we'll just see and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of cool shit and everything. So I figure I'll wrap this up right now and let you guys know that, yeah, I'm just I figure I'll do some Christopher Lambert stuff that I've been kind of sitting on for too long. So I'll be doing that. And hopefully we'll get together with some commentaries in the next week or so. I'm still waiting to hear back from Steve about what we're going to do, because did mention the Halloween Resurrection commentary. I did make that remark about the film kind of feeling a little bit like Clue, with all the everyone kind of pairing off in the Myers house to go look around and hunt and search for anything. So we're pretty much set on doing that. I ordered a Blu-ray upgrade copy of Clue or whatnot, which will be here in a couple of days. So whenever our schedule's nailed down where we can get together, we're at least going to do Clue. We might just do Clue and let the Back to the Future 3 commentary hit later in the month, then come back in a couple weeks and do some Forever Horror Month commentaries for you guys. So that's cool. That's a lot of stuff there. So hope you enjoyed me kind of going off like this. And hopefully, I think I feel a little better now, because I was kind of a fun kind of having this whole weekend off and not really doing anything with it. And whatever it is. So I'll hopefully get around to you guys again soon. But see you again in due time. So guys, thanks much. Check out the Predators review if you haven't already. And catch you later. Thanks much. Take care. Bye-bye.